Hello, we are now live. Welcome, thank you for joining. I'm quick sound test and visual test. I've got Matteo downstairs to my technical support to make sure that it sounds okay and it looks okay. I think we've got a feed, as I can see here, that we've got a strong feed. I don't know how many people are here, but I'm just going to start. First of all, massive improvement to last time we were streaming. Last time we were streaming, it was this awful webcam. Now we've got a huge improvement. We've got the Pocket 6K Pro as our webcam, because there's now a feature in that camera where you can use it as a webcam, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this stream. Lighting, I think, is a huge improvement. We've got a nice soft light here, and we've got the little lamp at the back there on the desk, which, if you look back at the past stream, it was absolutely terrible. But for me, I think the most important thing to note that's changed is this audio, is the mic. I'm hoping that the mic is better. Just going to double check with Matteo that our feed is strong. Yep, all good. Brilliant. So yeah, I hope that it sounds okay. For me, the most important thing is that sound. Is that it sounds okay. I did do tests before the stream, but to me it seems like the levels are, it's looking good and sounding good. Nice, that's what I like to hear. And being able to just shift between the screens, and changing it like that. Okay, so let's get straight into it. There are a few things that I do want to mention that I want to start off with, which is the announcement that Godox actually made today. And I thought that this was great to talk about on the stream. What they announced was this really big light from Godox. And I mean, this thing, the price is not that bad. The price is not that bad at all, considering the features that this light has. It's extremely powerful, and I mean, they really want to compete with, Godox are one of those, in my opinion, especially the lights that I've got from them. They seem like they're very affordable, and that entry level for filmmaking. But now they're coming out with these massive lights, and they're improving these massive lights. When I was at IBC, they were showing me all these like huge, proper Netflix standard production lights. And the fact that they've announced this today, I think is really cool. And it was something that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, extremely powerful. They've got a video down here. I want to watch this video. And just, you can see just how big these things are. These lights are, look, that is massive. That is absolutely huge. Yeah. That is crazy. And what was the price? Around like £7,000. It's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. But these things, look at that. Like, these things are meant to compete with the sun and to get that really strong key light into these buildings. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I wanted to start off the stream looking at that. We have got other things as well. We've got this tier list. This is going to be the bulk of the stream, and the conversation that we're going to be having is to go through these little topics that I've created, and then I want to hear what other people have to say. Something that I did forget to mention, hold on, is we have, first of all, follow me on Instagram. Look, we've got a little Instagram thing up here. Join the community chat that we've got. I want to do these streams every week, and it really depends on how much there is to talk about within the week, but I think it'll be really cool. So follow me on Instagram, join that community on my profile, and I will update everyone on when we're doing streams and what we're going to be talking about. Another thing which I think is going to be really cool is if you want, and you want to have a conversation, you want to talk about something that I'm talking about, or if you've got any general questions, call in live. You will be live, obviously, but call in. Feel free to have a conversation. I think that'll be quite cool. Okay, back to it. Right, so this video's still playing. Yeah, I mean, these would be great to, I mean, £7,000 is a lot of money, but to rent these and to have that, I mean, these are for proper commercials, but I think the whole point me showing you this is that the filmmaking space is getting more and more casual. It's getting more and more, you know, I know £7,000 is a lot of money, but back in the day, that's affordable for these kind of lights. You could shoot a commercial with these lights on the, you know, outside, as you can see here. Let's go look at some of the other features they've got. I mean, the power was 225,000. Okay. Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles. Looks really cool. Anyway, right, moving on. Boring light. This light is actually, funny enough, I got emailed today to do a review on this light. So I wanted to go through it just very briefly before we get into the tier system that we've got. I'll just go through the features of this light. And like I just wanted some ideas from some of you guys to what could I do differently to review this light. I don't want to just sit in a studio like I did with the last Godox video. With this, I want to do something different, but I mean, I've got no other film projects really coming up anytime soon, but I wanted to do something different. I was thinking maybe an exterior, do like lighting outside, because I very rarely light outside, and I think it's a really important skill to have. So maybe that might be something that's, you know, worth doing. But anyway, I want to get some ideas on how to review this light. It looks really cool. It's just slimmer. I think it's easier to carry around for more of that lightweight filmmaking, maybe like interviews, podcasts, things like that, rather than using the massive 2x4 Godox. But essentially, it's the same. What volt has it got? How powerful is it? Or does it not say? Yeah, it's got color temperature. Of course, it has color temperature. I don't really want to play the video, but 200 watts. So, yeah, not as powerful as the Godox. Cheaper than the Godox. This is at around £500. The Godox 2x4 that I've got is just over 1,000. But then with this, you're getting half the brightness. But I mean, that Godox light can get really bright, really, really bright. So yeah, this is just the same thing really, but being able to pack it down. I like that you can connect them. That's cool. That's very cool. I really want to get one of those, but I don't think it will come with the light that's being sent. Yeah, cool. Okay, so tier system. Here we go. The first top. If you're in the chat, by the way, if you are here, make yourself known in the chat, because I want to see who's here, because I can't see how many people are here. So if you are here, let us know. Make yourself known. Okay. Right, so the first topic I wanted to talk about was, full frame sensors, are they overrated? Agree, strongly disagree, disagree, agree, strongly. Oh, that should be strongly agree. Hold on. There we go. Full frame sensors overrated. I think it depends on, I'm going to say this a lot during this stream, but it depends on the situation that you're in. And from my experience, going from the Pocket 6K Pro to the Pixis full frame, for me, I will always pick the the Pixis full frame. There's something about that sensor, and there's something about that full frame sensor that is different. You know, you've got that shallower depth of field, you've got that larger format, that larger surface area to capture. So when you shoot wide, it's really wide, but it's a nice wide, especially in the middle. So I'm gonna have to say, I think disagree, because it's the way that social media and capturing that full frame format and capturing that full frame format and social media having 4K resolution vertically as well as horizontal, I that is the future of filmmaking. I think more and more cameras, the Sony FX3, the Pixis 6K, Pixis 12K, all of these cameras are moving towards that full frame format alongside bigger cameras as well. And as you know, IMAX films are getting bigger and better, and that's gonna become the standard. Again, I am talking in like 10 years time, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's just my experience. When I go back to the Pocket 6K Pro, and on that Super 35mm sensor, it just doesn't feel the same. It serves a purpose for shooting 16:9 content, but yeah, that's it really. Okay, global shutter. Okay, I gotta zoom in for these topics. Hold on. Can you guys see that? Okay, yeah. Okay, global shutter. Overrated. I don't think it's overrated. I really feel the global shutter overrated. No, I think strongly disagree. Because when I shoot on the Pixis, which has a really bad rolling shutter, which is one of the reasons why that camera is so affordable, is when you shoot a larger format, you do feel it in the Pixis monitor when I'm shooting, which is why I don't often shoot open gate. I often shoot 6x5, which reduces that rolling shutter a little bit more and that readout speed. But I've never shot on global shutter, but I have seen footage on global shutter, and I think you can feel the difference. I'm assuming you can feel the difference, but it's almost like, why would I disagree or agree or strongly agree when it's like it's just so much better? Like, there's no advantages to rolling shutter, there's only an advantage to global shutter. It's like, why would you not have it? That seems silly to me. Yeah, right, next one. Brand loyalty makes no sense. I think I'm going to put agree. The only reason I'm going to put agree and not strongly agree is because of the ecosystems that camera companies are putting into place. That, you know, if you work with Blackmagic, you work with B-Raw, DaVinci Resolve, that's their ecosystem. If you work with Sony and their ecosystem, you're going to work within that ecosystem. You know, the Sony FX3, the FX6, you're going to work within that ecosystem. So that's the only reason that I'm putting it on agree, and not strongly agree. It's because of these ecosystems. But if you remove those ecosystems entirely, and you just had what they're capable of, then strongly agree. Brand loyalty makes no sense. They don't care about you. That's just the way it is. They care about profits, but that's like any other business. But it's like, why would you be loyal to a certain camera? Why would you be loyal to a certain camera if another camera company is providing something better for your filmmaking? You know, it doesn't make any sense. But some people, you'll be surprised, some people really are loyal to their brand. No, I would never get Sony, I'd never get Canon, I'd never get these cameras, when it's silly. I think, if you work with multiple production companies, you need to be adaptable to other cameras. So yeah. Okay. Oh, I hate the fact that I have to keep zooming in because you can't read the... Sony FX3 overrated. I really should have thought about this before doing it. Sony FX3 overrated. It can be, sometimes. It can be, and I think the only reason... I don't think people are going to really like that. The only reason that I think that it is slightly... some people overrate it. It's quite general. But some people are like, yeah, I think it's a great camera. Let's just start that off. I think it's I've shot on the FX3. Most production companies have an FX3. I very rarely have shot for a production company and they don't have an FX3. But yeah, I think it depends on the individual, because some people just really overrate it and they say it's just the best. They'll never get another one anytime soon, which I guess is fair enough. And I think it's a great camera. But yeah, I think sometimes it is overrated. But again, it's situational. It depends on what you're shooting compared to what I'm shooting. So I think it's like great for events, great for corporate interviews and things like that. But if I said it's not great for narratives, it's kind of redundant, because certain films like The Creator was shot on the FX3. So maybe I'm just waffling. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm talking rubbish, as always. Okay. Cinema lenses are always better. Again, it just comes down to being situational. Because they're not always better, depending on what you're shooting. I think for narrative pieces, and for finding a specific look for a narrative piece or a documentary or a music video, I think cinema lenses are often better choice, because you can find the visual style within that cinema lens. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like photography lenses don't really have that characteristic that you can find in various cinema lenses. Yeah. Cinema lens is always better. I don't know why I put this, because it's so situational. I think I'm saying this only in terms of what I shoot. I think me personally, yeah, I can't disagree with that. Just because what I shoot, again, I shoot a lot of... Basically, I will always choose, often or not, a cinema lens over a zoom lens or a photo lens. Yeah, just because... Yeah, I just prefer them. I just do. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it, really. I think you got better... I hate the digital apertures, and I think having that manual aperture and manual focus I always just find it so much better. Again, Pixis doesn't have an autofocus, so I haven't really got much experience with autofocus, so maybe I'm just talking absolute rubbish. But being able to manually focus myself, I find better. Okay. Oh, we're racing through these. Maybe I should have done more. To be fair, it's been 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe I need to slow it down. I feel like I'm talking too fast. I've got more to talk about up here. Oh look, I had tabs open ready to talk about the certain cameras, but I've just skimmed past them. Okay. Right, so now it's time to pick apart the Pixis camera. The Pixis is overrated. Again, I agree. I mean, it's the same as the FX3, people were. I remember when this camera came out, people were saying it's like the poor man's Alexa, Arri Alexa. Huge overstatement. I don't know why people were saying that. I don't know if they were getting, if it was advertising, if they were getting paid to say that. I think it was just, it's silly. But I do think the Pixis, I'm starting to second guess myself, because maybe disagree, only because of the price. The price right now, the price right now, that is how much you're paying for the Pixis 6K on Black Friday. Under $2,000 for a full frame sensor. Yes, the FPS is rubbish. The readout speeds are bad. And you've got to get a ton of accessories, like the Pixis monitor, which is about £300. You've got to get BPU batteries, V-Lock batteries at the back, cages really if you want to mount stuff on the back and sides. But I think I'm gonna put it on disagree, just because of that price tag. But the Pixis doesn't hold its value at all. Blackmagic in general just doesn't hold its value at all. I mean, I bought this camera, and within 8 months, not even a year, they released the 12K, which had better readout speeds, better frame rates, and Blackmagic just have this tendency of just not caring about their consumers. The people who again, going back to that brand loyalty, it doesn't make sense, because they don't care if you've bought some of their cameras. They will just release the next thing, and then their cameras the camera that you've bought plummets down in value. The difference is with the Sony FX3 is that, and Sony in general, when you buy a camera, they're going to commit to that camera for a long period of time, because they're very business to consumer friendly. Blackmagic, they need to be really careful, because they are not being business to consumer friendly in the recent years. What do you mean? I don't get what you mean. Do you think your brand loyalty meant you chose this over potential options? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would. I'm saying, like, for people who are like brand loyal to Blackmagic, and then they buy their cameras, and then the point I'm trying to make is that then next year they release another camera, and then this one drops in value, and this is why brand loyalty doesn't make sense, because if they, I mean, for Sony, perhaps it's better to be brand loyal to Sony, because of their strong relationship with their customers. So sure, that makes sense. So maybe it is situational, to whatever brand you're in. So maybe brand loyalty does make sense for Sony, but it doesn't make sense for Blackmagic at this period in time. Yeah. Okay. Let's stop waffling. Okay. IBIS is overrated. I think maybe I should reword this to IBIS makes your footage better. I think that's more appropriate for a comment than IBIS is overrated. I have shot on cameras with built-in stabilization, and I really, in one side of it, it was absolutely incredible to see I was shooting on a long lens. I think it was like 120, and I was like having it handheld, and I was like, surely this isn't gonna work. And then the built-in stabilization, it just smoothed it all out, and the clip I thought looked really nice. But then you do get that, maybe it depends on the camera, but you do get that slight watery, that watery effect of the sensor moving. But if you're shooting, again, it's like you want to have that option on or off. I think if you've got the ability to turn it on or off, that's a good thing. Does it make your footage better? No, not necessarily. but if you're shooting events where a lot of it's smooth gimbal, if you're doing properties, things like that, I think that, built-in stabilization does make your footage better. But surely you should just try your best to do it in camera. But things are changing. Everything seems to be digital and in camera, or artificial in camera. Okay, I'm going to rephrase that to: does it make does built-in stabilization improve your footage? Let's say that it improves your footage. I'm going to say, I don't know. It's hard because it's situational. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to disagree. Because I don't think it is overrated. Because I think most cameras that have built-in stabilization built into them are not designed. They are designed for events and the content that I spoke about earlier. They're designed for that. So why would they not include it? Doesn't make any sense. God, I've only been going for 26 minutes. Blimey. Okay, this is interesting. Lenses are better than camera sensors. Very interesting indeed. It might be agree, because again, I think it comes down to what you're shooting. If you're shooting narrative pieces, then in my opinion, I think the lens is more important because it gives that film that characteristic and gives that film that look. If you look at Dune Part 1 and 2, or maybe it was just 2, they customized lenses specifically for that film, and that's what gives that film that look. And there's no other film that quite looks like Dune Part 2 and Part 1 as well, for that fact. And that's because of those lenses. So I think if you're talking about narrative pieces, documentary pieces, creative pieces, lenses are your best friend. I heard a phrase today, and I thought it was so interesting. You date a camera, but you marry a lens. And I was like, that's so interesting, because it's like cameras and sensors and what they're capable of, you can switch them out. But I feel like the lenses have that characteristic and have that look, and that will always be universal. They'll never change. And that's why vintage lenses being rehoused has just boomed in popularity. I even think Dune and the Batman and Greg Fraser, he uses all these vintage lenses, old lenses with these characteristics. They're still being used now. So they haven't lost their value, not nearly as much as film cameras, cameras that shoot on film. So I think that is really interesting. So I'm going to put agree on that. But then if you're shooting, other forms of the spectrum, property, slower form, property, events and things, you don't need those characteristics really. And if it's like a clean commercial, you'd shoot maybe primes if it's like a big commercial. But then if you're shooting sports, you want a camera that can do frame rates and global shutter and good performance in terms of readout speeds on the sensor. I think that's my take on it. I hope that makes sense. I feel like no one's challenging me. I don't know how many people are watching. I feel like I'm not getting challenged. Challenge me. If you think what I'm talking about or what I'm saying is gobbledygook, let me know. Because I want to hear what other people want to say about it. Right, what else have we got? It's a good thing that filmmaking gear is so affordable. Man, I'm gonna have to put agree again. Yeah, because it is a good thing. Because the entry level and the price to enter this business has dropped massively, and now it's affordable. We're still talking of thousands, but it's still affordable to get into this industry compared to what it was 10 years ago. So it's a good thing that more people can be creative and more people can get involved in filmmaking without that huge entry level. But then it's also a bad thing because it's so saturated, and there's just so many people all trying to do the same thing. Because it's in my opinion, the best job in the world. Because I absolutely love it, and a lot of other people do. And prices have become so competitive. People are dropping their prices because they want the jobs. So yeah, it is a good thing, but at the same time, I can't disagree. Because it's just the market's drowning, and because of that, everything's going. Even other camera companies, Blackmagic being one of them, just their prices are so low because they need to compete with all the other camera companies. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's tough. But I think it's overall, I think it's a good thing. I want to see more people doing it, but just not with my clients. Okay, shooting everything shallow is ruining films. I think this topic is so interesting because modern cinema and where cinema is right now it's not great. And there was this video, I actually got the tab open ready. It's this video here. If you've got a minute, check this out. This video here, because the points that this guy said was so true. And it's like, I hear people say, why don't films feel like films anymore? Films were so much better in the late 90s and early 2000s. And watch this video because he brings up so many points and you don't realise it until he explains it. And one of those things was everything's so shallow, meaning that the background is so out of focus all the time. And that's to save money on the special effects in the background. But if you look at the old Jurassic Park films, everything is in focus and everything is not wide, but like shot on a 24mm, where you see the environment and it's textured, and you can it's almost like you can feel it. You can touch the grass that's there. Look at the grass in the background of that thumbnail for the newest Jurassic Park film. It's out of focus. It's blurry. You can't touch it. It's got no texture. It's digital. And yeah, I mean, where are we? Back to where we are. I genuinely, I strongly agree. Because, and you see Zack Snyder's films, they're just so shallow, like 1.4, 1.2 f-stop, or t-stop, and I think it's ruining cinema is like a bit of a broad statement, maybe more like the lines of ruining cinematography and ruining the tone of a film, because it's like everything's shallow, everything's clean, everything's digital, and because of that, yeah, you just ruin the texture in the film, in the scene. Modern cameras peaked years ago. Modern cameras peaked years ago. See, I've been doing this for 6 odd years now. Probably not even that. Probably like 5 years. So I don't really know. I can't say like years ago. But I'm going to say I disagree. I think maybe I'm just saying this because I'm in the industry now. I'm working. So I'd say that they're peaking now. But again, I don't know. Modern cameras peaked years ago. Strongly disagree. Yeah, I think I'm going to strongly disagree because cameras are, I think they're peaking now because of the crazy cameras that we're getting at really affordable prices. What I will say is that if we do peak, I would say that it's the Arri Alexa Mini that drops down to an affordable price. If the Arri Alexa Mini LF drops, old cameras have a nostalgia that modern ones don't seem to have. Yeah, but then it's like what's peak? You know, what is peak? Is peak film? Back shooting on film, or is that just our nostalgia playing with us? Or is it now where it's like you see the Pixis and you see the Sony FX3 and you see the Sony Venice 1 and 2, you see what Red are doing with their cameras, the V-Raptor XL, they're like really good cameras at affordable prices. Is that not peaking now? But yeah, I think it will peak when you've got Arri Alexa Mini LF cameras. When they reach below $5,000, that's when it's peaked. You know, when you can shoot a film, because so many films are shot on the Arri Alexa LF Mini, loads. If that camera drops down to our level of pricing, that's when it will peak, because fast readout speeds, you got crazy dynamic range in the camera. You could shoot your dog and it will look incredibly cinematic as long as you know how to light it and backlight it and things. Yeah, I don't know with that one, to be honest. I strongly disagree. Yeah, I think we've still got a way to go in terms of peaking. I don't think it peaked years ago. Last one. We got last one. Oh, to be fair, we've been going for 40 minutes. I feel like I haven't stopped talking. Okay. The filmmaking space online. So it's more relevant to like content creators that are filmmakers out there. That the filmmaking space online is really toxic, or it creates a toxic environment, or what have I actually said? I can't actually read that because it's cut off. The filmmaking space online is toxic online. This is something that has been really present recently within the filmmaking space online and Instagram, which is people seem to be having this battle between a YouTuber and a filmmaker, and saying that these YouTubers aren't filmmakers, and then it's really quite toxic at the minute. And there are times where I will be I've uploaded a video, I've spent loads of time on it, just talking about something just a short film that me and my friends did over the weekend. Like, that's it. That's, it's nothing anything special. But then I get comments that are just, very rarely, because I'm not a small channel. No, I am a small channel. I'm not a big channel. I know that. But then I look at some of the comments and I'm just like, what? Why? Like, is that necessary? Okay, fine, whatever. And then I go on other bigger creators that I really like and I really enjoy, and I look at their comments because they're much bigger channels, obviously. And those channels are, you look at the comments and some of these comments are just like, they're so nasty and horrible, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. We're here as creatives just making stuff because we enjoy doing it, and we get paid to do it, which is fantastic. But there's no need to say something nasty, or criticize it, unless you get asked. If someone says, "Can you criticize my work?" then fine, fair game. You've been asked to criticize it. But then it's just like this abrupt being a critic, but then you've got no qualifications, you've got no experience, you've got no idea what it's like to be shooting a film, and having time restraints, having location restraints, budget restraints, So yeah, I think just maybe don't judge something so harshly until you've done it yourself, And I'm not saying I'm not against like criticism. I'm all for criticism. And I'm not talking about me. I very rarely get horrible comments. I'm talking about those bigger creators, and just the high. It's like going back years ago. It's just hiding behind a computer, criticizing, being horrible. But yeah, that's okay. Filmmaking space is toxic online. Yeah, I agree. Okay, right. That's it. That's all I've got. If people disagree with me, agree with me, or they've got something that they want to say about this tier. Well, I say tier list. It's just strongly disagree or agree. Let me know. There is some stuff, and more stuff that I want to talk about. I feel like the stream is coming to an end. Anyway, but yeah, some of these were hard to do. I mean, maybe I should have added some more, but yeah, I think the takeaway from this is don't get too hung up on gear. Don't get hung up on brand loyalty. Get the gear that's best for the specific job. Everything is situational. Every job is situational. Yes, if you're doing events, you've got your package, you've got your shooting package. If you've got a podcast, you've got your lighting package. That's easy. I'm saying more on if you're expanding to different production companies and different projects. Just get the gear that's best for the job. Don't necessarily show off. I've learnt this over the years. Bring the kit that's necessary, because what the client ultimately cares about is the final product. That's it, and how professional you are on set as well. But get the gear. I think that's the best way to go about it. And I think going back to that peak, don't let these content creators and influencers trick you into thinking that you're inadequate because you've got last year's gear. You're okay with the gear you've got now. There'll always be a lens every year that comes out. There'll always be another Blackmagic camera that comes out every year. Only get a bit of gear, and I've learnt this the hard way. Only get a bit of gear that escalates your career forward. Okay, right. So I wanted to, if we did have extra time, which I think we do, we can go on just for a little bit longer. I wanted to talk about this because I saw this and I thought that this was hilarious. I saw this a couple of months ago. This was a while ago. I think it was summer this year. But I saw this and I could not wrap my head around it. I find this so bizarre and strange, because why in the world would you want a Bumblebee Transformers collaboration with your camera gear? And I'm so torn. I'm like, on one level I'm like, that's cool, that's like a Bumblebee gear, but then I'm just like, now your camera looks like a toy. It looks like a toy. It's like, in what world is this practical? And it's only for one camera, so it's like, who's the target audience, I think is what I'm trying to say. Who is the target audience? Who proposed this pitch? Is this Small Rig? Is it Small Rig? Yeah, Small Rig. Who pitched this? Did Small Rig pitch it to Transformers? Or did Transformers pitch it to Small Rig? Oh yeah, we want to do... because it obviously looks amazing. Yeah. I mean, it looks... I'm not saying it doesn't look cool, but at the same time, your camera just looks like a toy. Imagine showing up to a professional set with other... I guess it's a conversation point, I guess. Maybe I'm just being grumpy. I don't know, I just thought that it's so... The way that filmmaking is going, it's so, like, consumerism, It's like, how many additions, how many add-ons can we add to these camera cages? It's just weird. I just thought it was really weird. Yeah, I was going to talk about Red and what Red is doing and the way that they're going, and the whole Nikon buyout and the Nikon ZR camera. I'll touch... What was the time? I still got a bit... I'm going to end it in a minute. I just want to talk about the Red camera and the future of Red, what I potentially think. I think that the new Nikon ZR was Nikon testing the waters. I think they knew that they were definitely too late with the FX3, because the FX3 has been out for years. It's basically the same apart from a bigger monitor, and it shoots Red RAW. So they were just testing the waters and just introducing people to the new Red Nikon buyout. I think maybe next year they're going to bring out like Nikon ZR2 or Pro or any of that. And it'll be much better. Maybe Nikon are going to head towards that pro consumer market, you know, with their, and they're going to compete with Blackmagic and the FX3 and things like that. But then Red as a brand are going to remain with the high-end productions where their bodies are 15 grand, 20 grand. I think, how much is there? I mean, the V Raptor XL X, this one, I think, how do I just look at the price? I just want the price. The price was here. I think the price of this one is like 50 grand. Crazy money. But then it's that, you have feature films shot on this, obviously. But then you have their, the V Raptor XE. Yeah, this is it. This is it. You're going to have more of these style cameras coming out where it's 15 grand. So it's just in that middle tier, maybe high middle tier of cameras. You're going to see more of these from Red that will be lower priced than this, I think, personally. And then the Nikon ZR area will be much lower. So you've got these, two splitting off. Nikon for the pro consumer, really affordable stuff, I guess stuff we're doing now. And then you're going to have the Reds that are on the other end of the spectrum. But then you've still got the ones that are like 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, which is like high middle tier. And yeah, that's it. I haven't really got much to say apart from that. Where am I? See that transition? I put loads of work into this stream. I was like, I got this cool transition. To finish, I'm going to finish up because we've been going for nearly 50 minutes now, which I think is a decent length. I do want to do these live streams every Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I've got shooting for a client, but I finish at around 5, so it depends on what time I get home. But I've set it up so the camera is always here pretty much. The mic will always be here, so I can just switch things on and just pop the live stream straight away. I do want to do these. I don't care if no one's watched. I have no idea how many people are here. I don't know who's here. I don't know how many people have watched it. But I don't care. I want to do this every Wednesday because I find this really fun to just sit and talk about gear that, what's new in the world of filmmaking, new lights, new cameras, do these little tier lists because there's something new every week. There is something new every week. So yeah, gonna finish it up there. If you do want to know when I'm going live and when videos are being posted and when I can't live stream because it's not going to be every Wednesday if I'm working, follow the channel on my profile on Instagram. There's no spam. There's not going to be any of that. It's literally going to be like, I'm not streaming this Wednesday. I'm going to stream this Wednesday. Going to stream Wednesday. I'm going to stream at this time and whatever. And just hopefully just make it into a regular show because I find this so much fun. I feel like close to the end, it felt like fun, I guess. And then, finally, next time on the stream, call in live. I want to see what people have to say on the stream. My dog's trying to get in. But yeah, call in. I want to hear what you guys have to say on the matter. I'm learning. I want this place to be a place of learning and to learn new things. Otherwise, I find it hard to learn new things. So if I've got something wrong, or if you think I'm wrong about my tier list, leave a comment because I think these live streams become videos at the end. And yeah, tune in next week if I can make it. I'll let you know. But that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to end the stream here. I will see you hopefully next week. Thank you.